welcome back to Learning to Be Prepared. My name is Jeremy, and today I just want to do a quick video on a series that I'm just going to kind of start with this video and see where it goes from here. The series that I'm thinking about starting is called The Diary of an EDC Bag. Now, the reason I'm thinking about this title is that most of the time when we post our videos of our EDC bags, get home bags, or whatever it might be, most of the time we're showing our bags put together the way that we think is best and it's complete, and we're just doing like a bag review perhaps, or a bag dump of everything that's in there, and we've already spent time making it the way we think it should be. However, I think for a lot of us that have not been doing this for 10, 15, or 20 years, we actually still take a lot of time to put our bags together, to get them in the order that we want, and to find out what works and what doesn't work. So what I was thinking about doing on this series is something that I haven't necessarily seen as much of. I may not be the only one to do it, and if I'm not, that's fine, and if I am, that's fine. But I guess my thought is, would something like this be helpful to all of us as we're watching videos and learning how to put our bag together? So this bag, for an example, is not put together the way it ought to be, or at least the way that I'm happy with. I change out my EDC bags a lot because I like to review and try different bags. But what happens is, as I change out my bags, or as I get new gear, things get taken out, things get put in that don't necessarily make this bag as good of a setup as it should be. So what I thought the diary of an EDC bag might be about is actually showing the changes and the mess ups or the improvements as I try to put the EDC bag together, as I try to make it better as I'm carrying it day by day. This bag is a VanQuest Katara. This is the original Katara. I think it's something like 12 to 15 liters. It's a smaller bag nonetheless. And I normally carry a Trident 20. But I've recently been carrying this one due to the fact that VanQuest has come out with a Gen 2 Katara, which I hope will be released in the next few months. So I wanted to carry this bag to get familiar with it again, so that when I get the new Generation 2 bag, I'll be able to kind of compare the two. This bag isn't put together very well. And I need a lot of work on it. So I thought I might make a diary via video to show the process I go through. If you guys like these videos, and if it's something that I can be diligent to continue doing, I can kind of walk you through the process of perhaps putting this bag together better. And I may be able to incorporate some of the other bags I'm doing, because while I'm not carrying the Trident 20 as a daily bag right now, I do want to continue putting that one together so that I have an EDC bag that's a little bit bigger and has some more items, and perhaps is better for days I'm going to be further from the house. Whereas this little guy, I want to be able to use it every day for the most part, but it's not going to have the room and the same organization as the Trident 20. So I have... If I were writing all of this down, I'd probably already fill up a page or two of a actual paper diary or journal or whatever. With that said, let's go ahead and dive into this for the first episode of the diary of this EDC bag. Now, I'm telling you ahead of time, this really isn't put together in a perfect manner. That's why I'm doing this video of it. In this first pouch here, I have my EDC light that I carry. It has a little holster. Now, I don't carry it like this every day, but one of my jobs, I wear a suit and all of our gear is under that suit. So I put this on the belt, and it's not in any of my pockets. It gives me more room for other things while I'm working that particular job. Next thing is just I have an extra pair of cuffs in here for work. I do keep something else in this pocket usually, but I don't want to include that in my videos. There are just some things that I'm just think is better to not incorporate right now. On the back side, there's a pocket here, but I don't think I have anything in it right now. Yeah, it's empty. So in here, I have just an old Maxpedition zipper pouch. And I have some quarters. I think this is like $5 or $10 worth of quarters. That's part of my EDC money. In this little slip pocket right here, I keep my Benchmade mini Griptilian. Now, I don't always keep it in here, but another one of my part-time jobs is in a secured location, and we can't take any form of a weapon in there at all. So I always try to keep my pocket knife in my EDC bag, because when I get up to go to that particular job, I can't put the knife in my pocket. So I like to keep it in the EDC bag, so once I leave that part-time job and go to a regular job, it's less likely I'll forget this at home if I start keeping it in the EDC bag. So getting into this main pocket, and you know, as we're looking at this, guys, this isn't really a review of the bag either per se, but we could probably go over it a little bit in these videos. This is a Magpul, I think it's pronounced DAKA, D-A-K-A pouch. And inside here I have my electronics, basically my lightning cable, mini USB cable, and my Anchor power banks, and also an Anchor wall charger. And yellow kind of goes into my color coding system for comms that I use, kind of based off the Urban Preppers colors of prepping or something like that. And then at VanQuest, you know, we designed that Velcro tab system that follows these colors as well. Here I have a notebook for one of the social medias that I try to help run for a company, and so I like to be able to keep notes. In here is a little small first aid kit, just a protein bar. In the back I have a second DAKA pouch, which I keep my emergency cash. That may be everything I have in here. Well, there's some sanitizer wipes. And a lip balm. There is a little pocket right here on the side, small, on this little wing on the inside, but that's actually just a little waist strap that goes with this pack. Okay, so that's really all that I have in here right now. And if any of you guys have ever watched my EDC videos in the past, I usually like to be a bit more organized, and I'd like to usually have more different modules and things. But this bag, guys, is really small. I think it's only 12 liters. So now that you've kind of seen the idea of this possible video series that we will see about continuing, and you've seen the bag that I'm currently kind of messing around with on a daily basis, and you've seen the items that I kind of have in it, let's maybe just talk about this a little bit. Since I'm trying to figure out how to organize this bag, it's smaller than I'm used to carrying. I can't carry as much as I want due to that. And what little I do carry, I need to decide what's most important. And it may not always be the most important things that I think every EDC bag for me should have. but it's at least the things that I feel like I've been using the most. I have a pretty heavy burdened heart to have some EDC money. I put it in one of these pouches because these things are unbelievably durable and they're pretty much waterproof. While they're not advertised to be waterproof, they pretty much are. The zipper has a rubber seal basically, but inside here I just keep $200, 50 in ones, maybe 4 20s, I think, 4 10s, and 50 in 5s. And the reason I do that is because if I ever need this money, I know that while some people say if anything major happens, money won't be worth anything. Well, that I do kind of understand and go along with that there could possibly be something in the future that, you know, could be devastating. But that's not really why I have the money in this bag. I keep the money in this bag because I think that there's a higher possibility that something on a smaller level could happen, like an earthquake where I live or some type of power outage, and I need to be able to have some cash to use. And if the place that I need to use the cash at doesn't have power, I can't use a debit card or an ATM machine, and I need to have some cash. And I want to have some smaller denominations in case I need some water and I don't have anything but a 20. I don't want to give a $20 bill and not get any money back for what a small water bottle might be. So if I have to get gas where I live, it can easily be $45 or $50 a tank. So with $200, it's really not that much money because one tank of gas, even though I don't usually keep it that low, but in an extreme situation, maybe for whatever reason I have less than half a tank or whatever, I have cash. And the list goes on for these reasons, but you understand that. And the little Maxpedition pouch has all my quarters in it. While I think I want to stick with this for the cash, I have also considered a lock sack option. The little clear baggies are super heavy duty. That might be a little bit smaller, but I don't know if I'm going to go that route because I really like the idea of this. And I can put this in any pocket of the backpack, and it's so sturdy that the money's not going to get damaged. Meanwhile, the quarters, I'm actually thinking about something a little bit more thin than this because I don't use these quarters very often, but I want to make sure I have them with me. So this is one of the things that is on my maybe I should change list, because I think I may put this pouch back into my main EDC bag, which is usually going to be the Trident 20, because I want to have a smaller one when I don't want to carry anything too major. Maybe I want to walk around and actually carry my EDC bag with me versus the Trident 20, the Falconer 31, or the Falconer 30, or the Trident 31, or any of those bags that are a lot bigger and draw a little more attention. So we're going to go ahead and set these over here. I would like to order another one of these holsters. It's kind of a plastic type holster or something. I don't know that it's actually Kydex. I think it's more of a plastic. I would like to order a couple more of these and have one in every pack, because I feel like having a flashlight on your belt can make walking or hiking or a lot of movement more comfortable than having it in your pocket all the time, especially if you're under distress and your clothes are wet and everything that's in your pockets rubs up against you and stuff. But I want to have one of these in every bag if I can. And since this form factor of an EDC light is an 18650, I do believe in having a smaller light on my keychain, and sometimes I carry a AA clipped on my pocket, but I always want to have one of these 18650 style flashlights either on my body or in my bag, because in some of my jobs I have a responsibility to take care of other people, and I want to have a light that can put off a throw, that I can light up a dark room and either signal for other people or whatever I might need to do. So I'm pretty sure this light style will stay in this bag. I might decide to put a more inexpensive 18650 style light. This one is one of my through night TC12s. Sometimes when I keep a flashlight in a car or in a bag that I'm not using regularly, but I always want to have it with me, I like to put sometimes a lesser expensive model of that light, so that if it gets stolen or I lose it, or the fact that I just don't use it very often, I don't have an $80 flashlight sitting in there. On the flip side of that, with my EDC bag, since I use this bag and it's my secondary form of defense, the first defense of whatever life brings is the EDC that I keep on my body. My EDC bag is the next level of defense, so to speak. And since I carry this stuff every day, I also kind of think that this style bag could have some of my best stuff in it because I rely on it more times than I do a get home bag or an emergency bag of some other sort. So again, this may be something that I just need to reconfirm and decide which light I want to carry in the bag. So let's look at the little first aid kit. This is, I think, a VanQuest Husky. I usually carry the VanQuest EDCM Huge, and that one is way larger than this. This is a PPM series. But in this bag, that PPM, EDCM, I think organizer is just so big, it would make this bag either puff out too much or just take up most of the inside of the bag. And while there may be days where a larger first aid kit would be great to have with me, and I can always put it in here if I want, I went ahead and put a smaller one in here so that I have more room in the bag. This is a different color than what this bag is, so maybe I'll change this to a wolf gray one. But I do need to work on what's in here. Now, I know there's not much on these little elastic part of this organizer, but there is quite a bit of first aid in these pouches behind. So while this is still smaller, there's a lot of stuff in here. So maybe in another episode in this series, I could spend some time trying to get this in better order and add a few more things to it. So this, I really don't always want to carry this with me, but then again, since I'm doing more work with this company, I do want to have something with me besides my phone to make a lot of notes on that can be ongoing. And I like having different pages so I could use more of a variety of organization. That may not really change, but it's a matter of, do I want to carry it with me, or do I want to even get a smaller one? Who knows? Stuff like lip balm, things like that, I'll always want to carry some of that stuff with me, but I think this will probably, it's kind of floating around right now. I'll probably put it in my first aid kit because this is more of a backup tube. I always feel that when it comes to lip balm, I like to keep it in my EDC cooler, in my pocket, in my EDC bag, in my car. If I have this stuff with me and don't need it, that's fine. But if I ever think that I need it and I don't have any with me, it drives me crazy. The little sanitizer wipes, usually I do want to keep these in here, but usually I'll use a lock sack baggie to put these in, but I just have these floating around. So something I need to work on in this bag is to get stuff like this more organized and to add more than these to the bag. The handcuffs, I use those at 2 of my jobs. I would like to have a pair in both of my EDC bags, but honestly it costs a little bit of money to buy a good pair. It's probably like $30 or $40. And so I like to have a pair with me in my EDC bag because that goes with me to work. And if I need a second pair, or if I forget a pair, or if it's the only pair I have at that time, if they're in my EDC bag, I always have them, and it's less likely that I'll forget them. And I don't really feel like I've set aside money to have a pair of these that I leave at each job, like in our lockers or whatever. So right now. They're in the EDC bag. This is a pretty good size electronics kit for this small of a bag. But I feel the electronics kit, for me, the cables and the battery banks are huge, because if anything happens throughout my day, if I get stranded, if I have to work longer than I expect, I don't have a power source for some reason, I'm a big believer in having plenty of power to charge my cell phone more than 1 or 2 times. And of course you want to have the cables and everything. I usually use one of the VanQuest organizers to put all my cables nice and neat, things like that. But a couple of things. One, I'm using a lot heavier duty cables right now than I used to, and they don't fold up quite as nicely to stick in the little elastic slots inside the organizers. And second, in my EDC bag, I like to really have enough battery bank power. So I carry like the 27,000 milliamp hour battery bank from Anker, and it doesn't really fit in any of my VanQuest organizers. Also, when I'm in the car at work, I can take this out of the EDC bag and just set this right on the front seat with me and have quick access throughout the day. This is a lot easier to get into and to get out of sometimes than those little EDC organizers. So the pocket knife, I would kind of like to have a second pocket knife in here as well, because if I come home and I change out of a uniform into street clothes, and I leave the pocket knife in the pocket of one of my other sets of clothes, and you know how that goes. I don't always have enough discipline to put everything in my EDC tray at night. And so I go to work at one of my jobs the next day, and my pocket knife is in another set of clothes in another location. So having a secondary knife in there is something that we may need to discuss. And there's some things I don't have in here that I really think that I should, like some backup batteries and things like that. So this is where I'm at. If, you know, this isn't a, hey, look at my perfect bag. Keep in mind, this is the diary of an EDC bag, or the journal of an EDC bag, going through the process of getting this bag more precise for my needs throughout the day. So I hope you enjoyed this first episode. We'll see about doing more of these. If you don't mind, leave some comments if you think a series like this would be interesting, where you kind of see the ups and downs of the bag instead of just the perfect bag put on showcase. Okay guys, thanks for watching.